Hey everyone, I just wanted to kick off this little celebration week of mine because I've hit the 1 year mark for hormones. Um, I wanted to do a trans narrative video. It's kind of a hard thing to talk about, but here goes. Um, for me, I guess I kind of always knew that I was different inside. When I was super young, I didn't know any different. I was just me. I just did my thing, wore what my parents gave me, played with whatever they gave me. But it wasn't until I started um, playing outside with other children and going to school and seeing the differences between boys and girls that I started to realize I was different. And I think it was when I played that silly game, I'll show you mine if you show me yours, and remember feeling how disappointed I was when I did not look like she did. In fact, I looked like my brothers, and that was just very sad and disappointing. So I guess I just started growing up wondering why I was different. And I remember there was another time that I saw myself in a dress in a picture. At least I thought it was me, but apparently it was actually my mother in a dress. And I'm pretty sure I remember talking to her and asking her, when did we take this picture? Because I don't remember it. And she was like, no, silly, that's me. And I just remember how stunned I was at how similar we looked. And I guess it got me curious as to what I looked like in a dress. And they never knew. They didn't. I tried on her stuff. I mean, granted, they were like huge on me, and I played around with her makeup, and I just remembered how happy it made me feel to do that. I never got caught, but as I got older, I kind of got lost in the whole sexuality thing, and boys are supposed to like girls and girls are supposed to like boys, and I felt like a girl, but I looked like a boy, and yet apparently I can like either. So, and in case you're wondering what that means, I'm pansexual, so yeah. So that messed with my head quite a bit, and it, I don't know, I saw the way the world treated people like me, and or at least projected the image of, drag queens and cross dressers and she-males and porn. So as I got older, I don't know, I didn't think that was me, but it got very confusing, and I kind of started to just run away from it all, and I tried to just fit in with everybody around me, and so I did everything that I could, adventurous, stupid things, and doing sports and martial arts and throwing myself into hobbies and lots of things just to forget what I was feeling and to distract myself. And even though I had initially dated two boys in the beginning, I made myself just date girls after that because I wanted to appear normal, but I never did feel normal. I just felt off, and there was always this emptiness, and eventually I would start dreaming about being a girl and wishing to God that he would make me a girl when I woke up in the morning, and when he didn't respond, I would worship other deities and made up things, hoping that it would happen. And, my dreams got so bad that I was daydreaming during the day, and half the time I thought I was jumping around living multiple lives, and I know how stupid that sounds, but my brain can process the fact that how I was feeling inside, and going into junior high and constantly being teased about being gay because of how I would act, how I would gesture or move, and I didn't do anything. Like, I was just being me, and I didn't see how that was wrong, and it just hurt to deal with that. And I don't know, I kept things inside very much, and I bottled it all up. I didn't know how to communicate my feelings. I couldn't even stand going to the washroom and urinals. I couldn't stand taking my shirt off to go to the beach. It all felt weird, and yet I did it because everybody else thought it was normal, but it pretty much was a literal mindfuck for myself, pardon the language. But even so, here I am going through life doing all these things, trying to forget how I feel, and I had managed to successfully bury it deep enough that I was able to fall in love with somebody and get married. Partly that was just one more thing that I thought maybe could complete my life, fill this void that was inside. Because I always felt off. I always felt like I was living the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, walking the wrong path. Like there were pieces missing in my life's puzzle. And as much as I loved my wife, I always felt off, like there was something wrong, and I didn't want it to be her, because it wasn't her, it was me, and I felt really guilty for feeling it, and I tried really hard to brainwash myself into not feeling what I could, and I'm a very patient individual, and I think the only reason I lasted so long because I was that patient, and I love to please people. I like to make people happy, and it was always about keeping everybody else happy and not myself. And all that did was destroy me a little bit inside every day, and eventually you just have to reach a point where you break. And I think when my marriage started falling apart, for multiple reasons, part of it was due to who I was. I mean, because I kept everything bottled up inside, I didn't know how to communicate my feelings, and a lot of shit happened, and that went south. And once I didn't have a happy marriage to keep me distracted, all those feelings started to resurface, and I just really got depressed. And when I get depressed, I eat, and I gained a lot of weight. I think near the end of my marriage, I was almost 300 pounds. It was crazy. But it was around a few years before we got divorced that I started to seal myself away in online games, and in every game I always played a female. It just felt right. And there was one game in particular, I won't name it. It's a very social game. Well, who cares, right? Second Life. That's the game I was playing. And it was like living another life. And I chose a female avatar. And I could get lost in it. I could be me. And whenever she tried to pull me away from that, I would resent her for it. And I felt horrible. But it was through that game that people wanted to chat with me. And having a very deep sounding masculine voice, I didn't think was going to fly, because I wasn't sure how accepting people would be of a male playing a female in a game. So I started looking around online for voice feminization stuff, and I came across a lot of videos on YouTube about trans women doing their thing, and then suddenly it just, I don't know, it was like this epiphany, the ray of holy light coming down or something, and just waking me up. And I felt like those missing pieces just fell into place. I was transgender, and suddenly everything that I felt when I was young and in the past, it all just sort of made sense now, what I was feeling. I never felt right, and to think of myself that way, it made sense. And I think from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to transition. It was what I needed to do, but it was just a very scary thought. And when my marriage finally went south, I didn't fight so hard to keep it, because I didn't want to put her through it, didn't want to make her suffer or make her unhappy, because I knew she wasn't going to be happy with me like this. And so I let go and let her go off and be happy with somebody else, so that I could transition and be me. So the first time I tried to transition was back in 2012, and I knew instantly that that was right. I mean, putting on clothes and trying on makeup, and it was me, and I finally felt so happy. But yet, when I came out to a friend of mine, a very good friend, and she kind of, I don't know, I think in her way, she wanted to save me. And I don't fault her for that. And I was so scared and afraid of everything that I would have to face down the road, and everything that I would have to lose, that I let her, and we purged everything from my life that was feminine. But instead it sent me down a very destructive, chaotic path that was not good for me, because I was running from who I was. I didn't want to face it. And so I went and did a lot of bar hopping, and I tried everything I could to have fun and keep the fun flowing and keep it going, and so I didn't have the time to think about it. And it was non-stop, going to the bars and drinking and parties and being with friends and showering them with gifts and treating them to food and buying stupid things that I never needed, moving into a house I could never afford, buying vehicles that I had no business buying because I didn't really have the money for that. And I think, quitting a job that I was stable in to try a totally new job, a position that was super hard for me, and but I thought, why not? This will be so busy that it'll keep me out of the loop mentally. But at the same time, I started dating, and girl after girl, it just went to show me that I wasn't me. This wasn't right, and I was uncomfortable in the body that I had, and I couldn't be this machine either, this male they wanted. I was just a toy in their hands, because that's the only way I could get anywhere. I had to imagine that I was a toy in order for them to. It just felt awkward and wrong, and I guess it opened up a whole new can of worms in my head, and I was so distracted that eventually I lost that job because I couldn't stay focused at work. My finances were in such a bad place that I was broke, and I sold everything I could to keep myself up, and eventually I went broke and lost my home. So I think there was a point where I was broke, homeless, and jobless, and how much more of my life was I going to destroy running away? I needed to face my problems. I needed to face who I was. And as much as I knew it would hurt the girl that I was currently dating at the time, I needed to be me. Didn't work out with us, but I went to my therapist and I talked to her. I poured out everything to her, and you know what? I'm not nuts. I'm not crazy. This is who I am. I'm transgender. I am Soraya. And from that moment on, I started to transition. I didn't look back. And as she gave me good advice, keep my foot on the pedal. So keep moving forward, even if it's just one baby step at a time. Move forward. And that's what I did. I eased into it, came out to people slowly. And the weight that was lifted was just huge. And it just felt good. So good to be myself. And yeah, well, the rest is what you guys see on my blog and what you guys see on YouTube, and here I am, changing quite a bit. And it's been 1 year. And I just can't express to you how good it feels to be me. Yeah. Sorry for the length of this video, but I just had to do it. So I'll leave it with that. I've wasted nearly like 20 minutes blabbling in your ear. I've got some other videos I'd like to do this week, so yay, 1 year. I'll talk about some changes and stuff in another video, and talk about what it means to me to be transgender and stuff like that. Anyways, I'll leave you guys for now. I love you all. Have a great week. Bye.